Welcome back to GBGuns. As you can tell from the gun and hopefully the title of this shooting impressions video, there's a little bit of wear here because we tried out the holster. You'll see more on that in a bit. We also did what's for dinner, full mag +1, and our grouping 5 shots at 7 yards. I'm going to get this thing apart, of course, and do some cleaning on it. But what I wanted to take a look at, and you might be curious too, is how the coating on this barrel held up. Zoom in here a bit, because I've seen a lot of barrels that have coatings like this that look really nice, and after the first couple rounds they're not so nice anymore. So I'm going to grab one of my rim wipes here and wipe this thing down. Look at that. Looks like it was never shot. That's a good coating. That's awesome. Not every barrel, especially the aftermarket ones you buy, come with that level of durability. Now there is still some little bit of wear there, but you get that on any barrel. I was just curious if this gold was going to remain so pretty, considering how many rounds we put through it, and well, just my experience with other barrels in the past. So while I finish wiping this guy down, I'll let you guys get to the shooting impressions and see how the gun did. I'm sure many of you are anxious about these. I know I was. I've really become a fan of these things. Anyways, I'll shut up and let you get to the video. So one thing that I failed to cover in the tabletop, and didn't the last time these holsters came out, was show the change and improvement that they've made to the holster included with the gun. Previously, they were a Blackhawk Serpa style holster, which has drawn a lot of criticism because it was real unsafe, but in the views of many. That involved pushing here on a paddle, which put your finger right in line with the trigger as you came out. And after a few people shot themselves in the leg, not being careful, pushing and then trying to release, getting back on, the Blackhawk Serpa style holsters were no longer allowed at a lot of training schools, and just overall not suggested. So what Canik has done is moved to this slider style, and in playing with it, I thought, isn't that neat that your finger comes to about there. Now this is just dry practice, of course, here at home. What's it like on the range? So we filmed some slow motion of both Matty AR and myself drawing from the holster, this holster in fact, to see how it released and where our finger would end up, if it was going to be safe or not. Did that in slow motion, which I'm going to roll over while I'm talking, and what you'll see is there was not much risk at all, actually, and for both Matty and I, our fingers came perfectly to that reference point, resting along the side of the frame, just behind the dust cover, above the trigger guard. So I thought that was pretty cool. Is it the best holster ever? Tough to say. I don't like to use retention holsters, but it's totally a personal preference, and this is obviously an outside the waistband holster. So in my opinion, great improvement, and it's yet another positive step that Canik and Century have taken. Start things off as always with the full mag +1, using another Canik mag from other models we've got, and our full mag is the +3 extension that comes from Salient Arms. See how the gun runs. We've only got about 20 rounds through this thing so far. I was curious to see if there's going to be any break-in required. It ran. Did not lock back. That could easily be my thumb resting on the slide release. That happens quite a bit with this long of a slide release and just my grip size. But 100% reliability, and that was 115 grain. What's for dinner today starts at 90 grain and goes through 95, 100, 108, 115, steel and aluminum, 124, 147, and the heaviest 158. We've got round nose, hollow points, flat nosed,
aluminum casing, steel casing. Through the gamut, we'll be running 3 rounds of each. We want to see, will the gun pick up off of slide lock? Will it cycle to pick up and feed that next round? And the 3rd round as a bonus to confirm. Starting off, what's for dinner? It's our Winchester How Clean, super clean, 90 grain. This is a zinc core full metal jacket, lead-free projectile, awfully light for guns like this that may be set up for NATO loads. It's also a little snub-nosed. Is it gonna feed? So far, so good. Target number 1, we'll see how it shoots. I'm gonna try my darndest to keep my thumb off that slide release. Lock back. Next up is the MagTech jacketed soft point. This is only 95 grain and also a little snubby guy. On casual examination, it looks like a 380 load. For target number 2, fed the first one. Do want to point out the loaded chamber indicator, although tactile, barely sticks up. You got a little teeny bit of red there to hint, but I would be doing press checks on this thing if that's your thing. Target number 2. And a lock back. Next up, we have a frangible hollow point from Honor Defense. These are 100 grain, lead-free, made in the USA. Slap them in this Turkish gun. Yeah, that mag's hanging out a little funny. This is from the SFX. Good thing about the Caniks is all the mags are interchangeable. Target number 3. And a lock back. Very soft recoil on those. Another new one for us, the MHP from Norma, the monolithic hollow point. This is 108 grain, which is kind of a curious weight. You don't see that very often. Pretty bullet, rather long and rounded nose for a hollow point. For target number 4. And we had slide lock. For the 5th target, we've got the Legend Pro. This is a solid copper hollow point, 115 grain, so now we're up to normal American bullet weight. I'm not sure if these guys are still around. If you know anything about GBW, let me know. Target number 5. Did not get slide lock that time.
All right, so to start off my circles, I'm going to be shooting the Barnaul polymer coated steel case, 115 grain at circle number 6. Maybe not. There we go. For target number 7, I'm going to be shooting the Blazer aluminum, and it's 115 grain.
Looks like the slide didn't go all the way forward on that.
Oh.
Want to rack it and reload it?
I would like to rack it and reload it. So I'm going to first So unfortunately, on that last shot, the slide did not go all the way forward, and so it was unable to fire. Went ahead and ejected that round out and put it back in, and we're going to go ahead and try this for a second time and see if it goes through.
Didn't get slide lock. Focus.
All right, next I'm going to be using the Remington 124 grain for circle number 8. Yeah. Let's see where my thumb is at. So next, for circle number 9, I'm going to be shooting the Remington Ultimate Defense full-size handgun brass jacketed hollow point bullet for maximum stopping power, and it is 147 grain. And for circle number 10, I'm going to be shooting the PPU Subsonic 158 grain. And we shall see. You can feel that one.
Is it heavier or lighter?
Heavier. You can feel the difference in that. All right, so for the right circle square accuracy test, I'm going to be shooting the Nosler Match Grade 115 grain, because I have an inkling that the lower grain is going to be a better shot for me. We'll see.
And for my 5 shots from 7 yards, I'll be trying the 124 grain Nosler match. Because, well, 124 grain. Why not? It'll be the right circle square. See how she does. I really enjoy that these sights give you ample space on either side of the front sight post. Which on this target happens to be the same width of that square at 7 yards. Didn't get slide lock that time because my thumb was resting on the slide release.
All right, so my thoughts on the Canik. At first, I thought that the issue with the slide not locking back at the end of the 3 shots was due to my limp wristing. Turns out that once we made a point of making sure that my thumbs were down, it turns out my thumb was actually right there on the little slide lock, and I was pushing down on it and didn't even realize it. I didn't realize my thumbs were even that strong. So with that correction, then it started locking back and shooting correctly. Throughout the ammunition portion, I didn't have any issues with feeding or or anything like that, aside from the one time that the slide just didn't go forward all the way. But I think that one actually was me limp wristing. Sorry. I think I actually had really good accuracy with this one. And at least as far as I'm concerned, I think that the lower grain is a better match with me for this gun, because I did pretty well on my accuracy 5 rounds there. I really like the sights on it. I really like the trigger. It has this weird, awkwardly large magazine release right there, but it comes with 3 different sizes, so you can customize that to whatever you want it to. But that really threw me off at first. Yeah, I really like this gun.
So this makes for the, I believe, 6th Canik or Canik that I've had the pleasure of shooting. This one, of course, one of the partnership builds between Salient and Canik and Century, and love the color scheme. I mean, the black, grayish, and gold, of course, looks really good. We do have no wear on that finish. It actually wiped right off. Trigger is super crisp, comes to a wall, snaps cleanly, as you saw in the tabletop video, with that Walther-esque 1/10 of an inch travel reset. Smooth shooter. It ate everything. We did have that one hiccup with the aluminum, but to be fair, we are a little tough on these guns, and we don't really do much break-in before running those tests. So what I was looking for was to see if it was still going to be that old issue of the guns being set up for 124 grain NATO and choking on the lighter stuff. As you saw, they didn't. Gun ran great, has an awesome trigger, comes complete with a holster. There's not much more you could ask for.
I'm hoping the camera is going to pick up on this. This barrel, the bore anyways, came nice and clean after just one pull from this Real Avid thing. If you want to learn more about the stuff I use, there's videos on that in the gear section, or if you want to support the channel, you can go over to the Amazon store. That's not what this video is about. Get that out of the way. This thing impressed me. Shot great. Those of you that follow us on Instagram and Facebook saw that on my first attempt at just ripping some rounds out quickly for the slow motion, because you might not know this, but I have less than 2 seconds of real world time that I can film in high speed, or slow motion if you will. Getting 9 rounds off in 1.5 seconds is not a world record by any measure, but it was easy to do first attempt with this gun versus trying to do it with a gun that I'd spent a lot of time or a lot of training with. So I was very impressed there. Accuracy was incredible. Trigger's great. You've got the optics options. Need to find a rag to wipe off that extra sheen. But anyways, really impressed with this gun. Appropriate size for carry with that 15 rounds. Or thanks to Salient, you've got that +3. So you've got an 18 rounder. +1 is 19 on tap. Great gun. I think I'll swap the mag release for a smaller size. But I've been really pleased with the TP9 Elite Combat Executive. Thanks for watching.